Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the regular scheduled meeting of the Beavercreek City Council. And before we get started tonight, I would like to ask Captain Lindsay if he would come up and join me. I'm going to read a proclamation for National Night Out, and I'm sure the captain will have a few words to say afterwards, and so we'd appreciate that.
Would you like the other officers up here?
Please, come on up. Well, ladies and gentlemen, what I'm going to read is what these gentlemen are all about, and so this is why we're doing this tonight. And so I'm going to start off here. Whereas the National Night Out campaign is a nationwide annual campaign designed to heighten crime and drug prevention awareness and generate support for anti-crime efforts. And whereas the National Night Out campaign provides an opportunity for neighbors in Beavercreek to join over 38 million neighborhoods across 16,000 communities from all 50 states, U.S. territories, and military bases worldwide. And whereas National Night Out is an annual community building campaign that promotes strong police-community partnerships and neighborhood camaraderie to make our neighborhoods safer and a better place to live and work. And whereas neighbors in Beavercreek assist the Beavercreek Police Department through joint community building efforts and support National Night Out this year, 2021. And whereas it is essential that all neighbors of Beavercreek come together with police and work together to build a safer, more caring community. Now, therefore, I, Bob Stone, Mayor of the City of Beavercreek, Ohio, along with the entire City Council, do hereby proclaim the night of Tuesday, August 3rd, 2021, as National Night Out. Sir, I'd like to present this to you and the whole department.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mayor, and I also like to thank Council and the City Manager for their continued support of the police department and also our community engagement efforts. This is always a great event, the National Night Out, and coupled with the open house that we're going to do this year, it gives the community and the police department a great opportunity to interact, talk to each other. The community can learn more about the department and meet some of our officers, and we have various activities for them to observe, such as a K-9 demonstration, taser demonstration. We also have one of our training simulators set up. So overall it's a great event for the community and the police department to get together and for the citizens to learn more about the police department. Chief couldn't be here tonight, but I do know that he would want me to remind everybody that I think he's going to be spending some time in the dunk tank that we also have for that event. So it should be a great time. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Officers, any comments? No, you're all going to stay quiet? Did you give them orders? Did you? All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is a wonderful event, and City Hall as well will be open, as you heard. I think the virtual machine is going to be set up right here in City Hall. So please come out and see what's going on and meet your officers. The great group we have. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, you are here. All right, let's call this meeting to order, please. May we have a roll call?
Councilman Bales. Councilman Curran.
Here.
Councilmember Durham.
Here.
Councilmember Garcia.
Here.
Councilmember Schwartz.
Here.
Vice Mayor Adams.
Here.
Mayor Stone.
Here. Do I hear a motion?
Motion to excuse Councilmember Bales.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to excuse Councilmember Bales. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries. I'll turn the meeting over for a moment to Councilmember Schwartz for the pledge.
All stand. Please stand and join me in the pledge. I pledge
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If all of you would remain standing just for a moment, I wanted to remind everyone I was shocked to see that school starts in less than a month. Now, I know that I don't have children, and I know that some of you that do have children are probably astounded at how quickly the summer has went by. And so I think it's a perfect time for all of us just to bow our heads in a silent prayer and pray for the families and the students that they're able to enjoy these last few weeks of summertime, and also for our teachers and administrators as they prepare. Hopefully they will have a little less administration to do this year with COVID and are able to focus more on teaching and enriching our students' lives. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we have an agenda before us. Are there any changes to the agenda?
Move we approve the agenda, Your Honor.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the agenda as submitted. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries. Approval of minutes. First are the July 12th regular scheduled meeting. Any changes?
Move to approve the July 12th regular meeting minutes.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the minutes from July 12th as submitted. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries. Pre-scheduled presenters. We have the privilege of having some representatives from the Popcorn Festival here this evening that would like to bring us up to date. So I would like to ask Mr. Ben Guthrie if he'd like to come forward and get us started. Welcome.
Welcome. Thank you, Mayor Stone. I appreciate council letting us have some time to talk with you this evening. And really, I guess the exciting part of my announcement is that we are moving forward with the festival this year, and we're very excited to be having that. We certainly had a year off last year, so this is probably the first year that we've ever planned for our festival for 2 years versus just 1 year. So it should be an extra special festival. But the Beavercreek Popcorn Festival is September 11th and 12th, Saturday and Sunday, and want to invite all of you as well as the entire community out to the festival. And we're expecting it to be one of the best festivals we've had. We've already had over 75% of our vendor spots filled, which coming off not having the festival last year, that's great. So we do anticipate having around 300 vendors, which is very much in line with what we've had in the past. So again, very excited about that. A little bit about our festival committee is we are a volunteer committee of about 15 to 20 volunteers. All the committee members work very hard, usually during a 1 year period to plan for the festival. I guess this year we had 2 years. But either way, it's very nice to see the volunteers coming together to put on a festival. Part of that, too, though, is we do get support from the city, and we appreciate the council supporting the festival and the city supporting it as well. I meet with City Manager Pete Landrum and his support, and Aaron Harris in the Parks Department supports, and we appreciate that as well. I want to announce a few of the different activities happening at the festival, but none of those activities could occur without having electric. Is very key. So I wanted to invite another committee member, Shannon Graham, to talk. He's in charge of our electric, and definitely has his hands full with that, and I'll give him a few minutes to talk.
Good evening, Shannon.
Good evening. Thank you all for making time for us this evening to hear us talk a little bit more about the festival. If you've seen me before, you know you've heard me talk about the electric. And so we've made improvements to the electrical infrastructure. We still have a lot left to do. I still would like to see the city and the festival have some type of a partnership or some type of an amicable way to help us get the rest of our facilities up to standard. I'd like to invite each and every one of you, if you come out to the festival, to find me I would be happy to walk you through some of the new infrastructure and then show you kind of some of the old things that we're dealing with. So, does anybody have any questions?
Anyone?
I like to give you guys opportunity for questions. My big thing is to try and run as safe a festival as possible. Electric is about the only thing we provide that could potentially do danger or harm, and so it's really important for you guys to really have a good concept of what we're working with out there. And like I said, try and find me. If I'm not over putting out a fire, literally, I'd be happy to take some time and show you guys what we're working with. So, thank you.
All right, thank you.
I was talking about we have some various events happening during the festival. The festival hours on Saturday are from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. on Saturday and from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. on Sunday. We do start with a 5K run and also a kids fun run, and that's at 8 a.m. on Saturday. And then also during those hours, we have a kids area, which is lots of games and different inflatables and things to do for the kids. So it's right in the center of the festival, which is great. We also have a beer garden. And also we have a car show on Sunday and an entertainment stage. And Rob Gowder's another committee member with me today, and he's actually in charge of both the entertainment area as well as the car show. So I want to have him speak a little bit about those areas.
Please. Good evening.
Evening. Mayor Stone, Council, thank you for having us. We appreciate it. As residents of Beavercreek and volunteers, we're glad to be a part of this. And I feel like it's one of the annual events that we can really show off our city. I go to other festivals, and I get ideas, and I'm very proud of what we bring to the table. And I talk to them, and they speak kindly of Beavercreek, so we're glad to have that opportunity. And the entertainment, what's nice about it is, we showcase live entertainment, but on Sunday, the crown jewel of everything that we have are the kids and the marching band. And there's such a build for that. We managed to somehow get all that space to work, but maybe some of the people that don't make it to the football games, they get a chance to come out and see what the marching band's all about. So we're really glad to showcase that. So make sure that you get a chance to come on out. It'll be Sunday at 1:30. And but throughout the weekend, we make announcements. We have bands. It'll be a chance for everybody to connect. So we're, as Ben said, expecting a great festival this year. And another important part is the car show. Shout Park is perfect with the grass environment. It's such a great car show. I'm glad to be a part of that. And we try to get as many awards to hand out for everybody. So it brings, again, some of the car guys and ladies that come, well, they know they got to go check the festival out too. So they'll get their car and they'll walk down to the festival. The environment and the layout we have is very unique. So we're looking forward to that again. And in anticipation, it will be a safe and great festival this year because a lot of them couldn't happen. So we're expecting a real opportunity this fall to show off our popcorn festival. We appreciate the support from the council and the community. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much.
All right. So, we shared a lot of different events happening. And if you have any questions about that or can't remember what's going on or just want to check out what the total entertainment schedule is, certainly visit our website, beavercreekpopcornfestival.org. Has all the information on there. We're also still accepting sponsorships, so we do have sponsorship opportunities to help support the festival. That's all I have in conclusion. I don't know if anyone has any questions, but otherwise, thank you for your time.
Thank you. Questions? Well, please extend our thank yous to the rest of the committee and volunteers that work so hard every year to get this going. So thank you very much, Ben.
All right, thanks.
All right, next on the agenda, another special presentation, I do believe. The Mr. Kevin Vaughn. And okay, and Mr. Casera here. Do we need a red pen?
Everything's in the black. All right. Hello, my name is Kevin Vaughn, and I'm a partner with Plattenberg, the auditor firm that's auditing the city. We subcontract the Auditor of State's office for your audit. So I've got a report here that's been handed out to you. This is kind of the key reports in the audit. Obviously, one major thing missing here is your large annual financial report. That's too lengthy to really cover in a meeting like this, but I'm sure you've all been made available a copy, at least a PDF copy, but that's the main part of your audit, is our audit of the financial statements. But this report does provide a good summary of all the different aspects of the audit. So if you turn in here to page 1, you'll see the city's schedule of federal awards, and this is the total federal grants that was expended during calendar year 2020 by the city of Beavercreek. And you'll see down there at the bottom, you had about $5.2 million. And that was up from about $3.5 million last year. And obviously the main driver of that, you'll see that grant at the very bottom there before the subtotal, the Coronavirus Relief Fund. That was obviously a big factor in 2020. And that also, you'll see later in this, is the major federal program that we tested during the audit that gave us the required coverage. If you'll turn the page, this is the Yellow Book report. I'm just going to point this out to you, and we'll move on back because there's a nice summary schedule in the back. But the Yellow Book report is required by the Governmental Accounting Office, and it's basically an audit related with the financial statements and relates to our audit of internal control and compliance. If you turn to pages 4 and 5, again, this is another lengthy report. This is our report also on internal control and compliance. It's called the Uniform Guidance Report, and this is specifically the audit of the federal funds that the city receives. And it's required in an audit when you expend more than $750,000 in federal awards in a given year. And you obviously exceeded that by quite a bit. And then if you get back to pages 6 and 7, this gives a really good overview of all these reports. The first thing listed up there is the report on the financial statements, which was the annual financial report that I referenced earlier. That's not included here. The city received an unmodified opinion, and that's basically a clean audit opinion on the financial statements. It means that the financial statements are materially correct and allows us to give that clean opinion. The next up, the internal control over financial reporting and compliance. That is the Yellow Book report that we saw earlier as we were turning through this report. Internal control over financial reporting, material weaknesses identified, no. Significant deficiencies identified, none reported. Non-compliance material to the financial statements noted, no. So basically that is, again, a clean audit report on our audit of the internal control related to financial reporting. Again, we're not giving an opinion on the internal control, but the nature of the audit requires us to evaluate a lot of key controls and also test certain legal compliance with the Ohio Revised Code and federal regulations. The next section is the federal awards. That's the Uniform Guidance Report that you saw in this packet. And again, it kind of follows the same format. Material weaknesses identified, no. Significant deficiencies identified, none reported. Auditor's report issued on compliance, unmodified, which is a clean opinion. And then it also asked if there were any findings related to the federal award audit, and no, there were none. And in this schedule, we're required to note the federal program that was tested. It was the Coronavirus Relief Fund. And that basically, because the city of Beavercreek is considered a low-risk auditee, we're required by federal regulations to obtain a 20% coverage of the federal awards expended, which would have been about $1.1 million. So this audit exceeded that quite a bit by testing the one program. If you were high risk, meaning you had issues in your 2 previous audits, we would have had to do a required 40% coverage. So, and then findings related to financial statements required to be reported in accordance with the Yellow Book or GAGIS, none. Federal award findings and question costs, none. And that's kind of the key summary of my audit. I know this is kind of a brief overview. If you ever have any questions, I'm sure Bill could put you in contact with me, and I'd be more than happy to answer those for you.
Well, we thank you very much. And I'm just going to ask one question.
Sure.
And that is the low risk and high risk, is that based on past audits? Is that how you get
It's
that way?
it's
I've never-
based on the 2 prior years, and specifically on the uniform guidance or federal audit. But it takes into also the aspects of the financial statement audit. If you had material weaknesses in internal control there, that could also affect your risk, even though it wasn't specific to the federal. But it deals, so for 2020, we would have looked back to 18 and 19. So since you've had, this is, the 2 prior years were a clean audit that made you a low-risk auditee.
Well, thank you. I'm
for
just
federal.
curious as to how that happened, but we know how it happens. We have Mr. Casera to thank for what he does, and so, thank you very much for the report. Any other questions or comments? Well, thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you. It's good to be with you.
Anything you want to add, Mr. Casera? And pass that along to your staff, please. All right, ordinance, resolutions, and PUDs. First is ordinance 21-15.
Ordinance number 21-15, an ordinance enacting and adopting a supplement to the Code of Ordinances for the City of Beavercreek and declaring an emergency.
All right, thank you. Mr. McHugh?
Yes, Mayor and Council, this is something that we do basically annually to update our code. To give you an example, one of the changes was all the massage chapter that was approved by council is now going to be part of the code. And so this is something that, like I say, is done periodically. I think the definition of drugs was changed on the Ohio Revised Code in 2000. So there are other changes like that, and so that's what this does. So,
Any questions? Anyone? All right, this in essence is what they call codification. Is that-
Correct.
Yes.
correct, Mayor, codification.
Thank you.
Yes. This is an emergency. Motion will be made as an emergency.
Mayor, I move to approve emergency ordinance 21-15.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve ordinance 21 whoops, this is an ordinance. We need to go for public. Is there anyone here this evening that would like to address council on this ordinance? All right, seeing none, would you please repeat your motion?
Certainly. Mayor, I move to approve emergency ordinance 21-15.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve ordinance 21-15 as an emergency. May we have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Schwartz.
Yes.
Councilmember Dewar.
Yes.
Councilmember Garcia.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Adams.
Yes.
Mayor Stone.
Yes. All right.
You forgot me.
Councilmember Curran, I'm sorry. You're right here, too. And
Yes.
Interesting evening tonight. All right, next, resolution 21-24.
Resolution 21-24, a resolution by Beavercreek City Council authorizing an extension of the reemployment agreement by and between the City of Beavercreek, Ohio and Dwight P. E. Landrum and approving an addendum to the agreement.
Thank you. Any discussion?
Move to approve Resolution 2124, Your Honor.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve resolution 21-24. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries. Thank you. Next is resolution 21-25.
There we go.
Resolution number 21-25, a resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into an LPA federal project agreement with the Ohio Department of Transportation for the project known as the Factory Road Bridge Project, PID number 113665.
Thank you. Good evening.
Yes, good evening, Mayor, members of City Council. The city's been fortunate enough to be the recipient of several new grants through the Miami Valley Regional Planning Commission. The standard process for that, once the grant is approved, we have to submit and get some preliminary paperwork approved with the Ohio Department of Transportation. And following that, they asked that we enter into a formal agreement for the administration of that grant. And we have 3 of those on the agenda this evening. The first one is a project along Factory Road. As you know, ODOT is now constructing the Super Street project through that area. As part of that work, they're going to be building a crossing with Factory Road and US 35, a pedestrian crossing. And with the Creekside Trail just to the north, the proposed project will widen the bridge on Factory Road to add pedestrian facilities on that bridge in order to get people, after they cross US 35 through ODOT's project, to give them that linkage back to the Creekside Trail. As part of the project scope also, we're going to be building a kiosk there at the trail with some general trail information for the users of the trail there. The work is planned for the spring of 2025. The amount of the grant is about $344,000, and the estimated construction cost is about $627,000. With that, happy to answer any questions.
All right, thanks. Anyone have any questions?
Where's the kiosk going to be?
We don't know just yet. It's in our grant scope. I would imagine it'd be closer to the trail, where we could catch not only people coming up from Factory Road, but we could also get some benefit for people that use the trail, probably close to the intersection, I imagine.
Question, Your Honor?
Please.
Yes, sir.
What is it 3 lanes and there's, of course, there's no sidewalk, that right?
Yeah, the existing bridge is somewhat narrow. It's only 30 feet from face of guardrail to face of guardrail.
Okay.
So we're going to widen for the pedestrian facilities, but we'll also widen for traffic also. So it'll better match the pavement widths that ODOT is going to leave with Super Street. And we also have a widening project we're going to build in 22 just to the north.
All right.
So it'll have a better continuity where the lanes are through there.
Thank you.
But we will have a few years of people saying, why?
Exactly. Yeah, it's, you can only build in pieces, and sometimes it doesn't make sense.
I know, thank you. All right. Do I hear a motion?
Motion to approve Resolution 21-25. Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve Resolution 21-25. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries. Thank you. Next is Resolution 21-26.
Yes, sir. The next project, the next grant agreement.
This, just one second.
I'm sorry.
We'll
jumping
get
the gun. Yep.
have it read.
Resolution number 21-26, a resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into an LPA federal project agreement with the Ohio Department of Transportation for the project known as the North Fairfield Road Widening Project, PID number 111452.
Thank you. Now you're ready.
Yes, sir. The next project we have tonight is a project along North Fairfield Road. It's about 3,200 feet in length. This existing section of North Fairfield Road is primarily a 4-lane pavement section, meaning 2 lanes northbound, 2 lanes southbound. Or if you want to turn left into one of the various homes or plat streets, you have to sit in that through lane to wait for a gap in traffic. What this project will do is it'll widen the road to add a center turn lane. So instead of sitting in that through lane, you'll be able to get out of the flow of traffic to better, more safely make that left-hand turn. And kind of the genesis for this project was when we looked at crashes through that area, we had 41 crashes in a 3-year period with 14 injury crashes and 1 fatal. And looking at the actual crashes themselves, about 85% of those were involved in rear-end crashes or people making those left turns. So we think this is really going to help drive those crash numbers down. Construction is planned for the spring of 2024. The grant is just under $1.2 million that we got through MVRPC, with estimated construction costs of about $1.7 million. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Questions?
No, it's badly needed, though.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
There's no question of that.
Motion? Do I hear one?
Move to approve Resolution 21-26.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve Resolution 21-26. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries. Next is Resolution 21-27.
Resolution number 21-27, a resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into a LPA federal project agreement with the Ohio Department of Transportation for the project known as the North Fairfield Road Widening Project, PID number 111451.
Thank you. One more time.
One more. The final project tonight, this is actually two applications that got combined into a single project. It's a pretty lengthy project. It begins there at Shakertown Road and goes down to the Fairbrook School. What the goal of this project is, there's an existing hump in the road at North Fairfield Road in Shakertown. This project will take out that hump. We're also going to soften the horizontal curve in North Fairfield Road just south of Shakertown Road. And we're also going to improve the profile of the roadway to improve sight lines. Additionally, we're going to, the same treatment you've seen on many other projects we've done here recently, we're going to make it 3 lanes, curb it. We're going to have pedestrian facilities on both sides of the roadway too, which will be nice for all the neighborhood children to be able to have a pedestrian path to walk to Fairbrook School when the job's all done. Construction is planned to begin in the summer of 2025. Our grant funding is about $2.8 million with a total estimated construction cost of about $4.2 million.
Very good. All of these seem to be really good projects that'll make a big difference. Comments, questions? Do I hear a motion?
I move resolution 2127, Your Honor.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve Resolution 21-27. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries. Let's see. Decision items. Acceptance of second quarter financial summary. Mr. Casera is back. We couldn't get him to talk before.
That's right. So I just wanted to report some good news. So I thought that would be a fun way to end the meeting tonight. But the golf course, you saw through the detailed report that I gave you, is having an excellent second quarter. They were off to a slow start. January and February kicked into a March, almost a record month, and then they've continued that the last 3 months. So their number of rounds is almost 13,400, and last year we only did 10, so we're up over 3,000 rounds at the golf course. And again, that equates to all the other subsidiary revenue sources. The greens fees is up, obviously. The card fees is up with the activity. The driving range is doing record numbers out there. People wanting to get out, and merchandise sales, because of the increased activity out there, is all up. So those are all positive things going on out at the golf course with the pandemic almost behind us now and people wanting to get out and recreate, which then leads to the next point, that the recreational department, the fund, Park and Rec is having a phenomenal year too now. They finally got everything off the state restrictions. Everybody started coming out, and again, we're having almost a record year out there. When I compared it to 2019, pre-pandemic, we're exceeding those numbers too. So it goes to show you that people wanting to get out, recreate, and we have the programs for them, and Park and Rec is doing a great job and getting a lot of good offerings out there and to promote activity, and you're seeing it in the revenue numbers there. Hotel motel, that was really dragging during the pandemic. The last 2 or 3 months, they have actually increased substantially, obviously, over last year. But when I checked 19 again, we're almost at the same levels, which is good to see that particular area is bouncing back again, attributed to all the events we're having, soccer tournaments, everything being reinstituted. We're getting those hotels filled up, and as Randy mentioned, some additional hotel and motels may be in our future here also. So again, it's that particular area is coming back and bouncing back pretty quick. Fuel taxes, we were worried about that for a while. Again, folks have decided to venture out, and we're starting to see that climb. We've already exceeded last year, but again, I keep going back to 19 to say where are we in relation to that, and we're about 10% down. Consumption driven, people are starting to get out, but the cost of gas is a little bit prohibitive, but we're seeing that come back pretty steadily too, so that's the good news. The One bad news is the interest revenue that we're getting for our funds sitting out there is still extremely low, almost zero at this point, and we're taking a beating in that area. But all the other ones that are driven by either consumption or activity, folks getting out after the pandemic, we're seeing all of those increase pretty substantially. So again, we feel like we're going to be able to meet the budgets, if not exceed them, pretty strongly this year. And it's good to see everything getting back, and our departments are gearing up with fantastic programs to get them out. The senior center, another area where we delayed the memberships. We gave them 6-month credit during the pandemic. That 6 months is finally up, and you're saying that the memberships are back to where they normally were. So again, people getting out there, getting to the senior center for all their activities, and are participating again, and the trips are back up on the for the vans and the transportation side. So basically good news. In the second quarter, things are getting back to normal, and they're getting back to normal relatively quickly. So just wanted to let you know that.
Well, thank you. I mean, that is all good news. Comments?
Great, congratulations.
All right, Bill. All right, we'll move on. Let's see, we got to accept. Do I have a motion?
Move to accept the second quarter 2021 financial summary.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to accept the second quarter financial summary. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries. Thank you. Next is council time. How about we start with Council Member Curran? Would you like to start off tonight?
Commendation to commendation to Council Member Garcia. Your time on MVRPC and helping to shepherd through all of these road projects. A lot of people don't realize the intensity of some of those meetings. So best to you. And commendation also to manager for our retreat that we had, our program down at the Lofino. It was very informative and very helpful. Also want to encourage everybody to stop by the garage sale, Senior Citizens, July 10th. The manager's kind enough to have a little blip on that in a few minutes. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Schwartz.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to reiterate, I know there was a recognition right before the meeting, but National Night Out is August 3rd. I encourage everyone to come out in the community and see all of the great things our police department is doing. And apparently I somehow have also found myself in a dunk tank. So if there's anything that City Council has done recently that you would like to take some stress out on, I will be available to be dunked. So looking forward to that, I think. In addition to that, there is a Kid X event at the mall this Friday. I encourage parents to take their kids out. There's an Olympic theme, so I think that there will be a lot of fun activities there. And last, I would very much anticipate that Vice Mayor Adams is going to touch on this, but Lemonade Day is this weekend, this Saturday. There will be lemonade stands all across our community, and we were discussing beforehand, I think there are a lot of different flavors to include a spicy lemonade, so there will be lots of different things for you to try. So I encourage you to get out and try to visit some of those stands and help encourage our young entrepreneurs in the community. That's all I have. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Are council members allowed to throw at the dunk tank?
I've already told Officer Brownlee he could not, so I'm going to say no.
Hopefully any balls thrown will be watered down.
Oh, me. Councilmember Garcia, would you like to take over from that one?
Oh, it's a tough act to follow. Thank you. I will say we are meeting for MVRPC next week, so we should have a new update on that as well in 2 weeks when we're back for our regular council meeting, so I'll have an update from there. I want to thank the Beavercreek Popcorn Festival and the volunteers, as they said that they are a volunteer organization every single year, unfortunately except for last year, but it's so great to see them back this year. So please do mark your calendars for that weekend after Labor Day to try to get out and support our Beavercreek Popcorn Festival, as well as all of our local vendors that come out. It's always a great time. I am going to piggyback and talk about National Night Out again. With all of the amazing activities at the police station next door, please come in and stop and see us here at City Hall. We will have the police simulator for shooting events. I remember a few years ago it was zombies. I did not do well, so I will come back to try to redeem myself. I blame the officers because I don't believe my fake gun was properly outfitted, and I will take that to my grave. At point blank, I can shoot a zombie. But it was a great time. It is really fun. All the kids really enjoy it, including myself. So please come out and support our police department, and also Lemonade Day, which we'll hear about here in a few minutes. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Captain, do you need an equal time on this one, or not?
It was the end of the day, and I think the airsoft rifle was just not a good day.
I think that's a valid excuse.
Okay. All right. Councilmember Dewar.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm pleased to announce that I'm hosting the Dunk Tank at National Night Out, so look forward to welcoming people to that session.
How close can you get to the trip now?
I'd like to thank Bill Crucera. Hearing the information on the audit is tremendous news for the city, so thank you for your ongoing attention to detail. It makes our jobs a lot easier, and it's wonderful news to hear another great audit, so thank you. Like Councilmember Garcia mentioned, the Popcorn Festival is a wonderful asset to the city of Beavercreek. I want to thank Ben Guthrie and Shannon Graham for giving us more information, but it is a wonderful point of interest for the city. And then try not to steal too much thunder from Vice Mayor Adams on Lemonade Day, but I mentioned that too. But 13 sites around Beavercreek. There are a lot of young people who are very excited in our community, budding entrepreneurs, and so I'll leave it there for Vice Mayor Adams, but I'm very excited about this Saturday, so thank you.
All right. Next time, we'll let you go first.
I really didn't have anything anyway, so.
Okay.
No, as,
You're up.
I'm up.
You're up.
Well, thank you, everyone, for mentioning Lemonade Day. I'm excited about it. There's 85 children from Beavercreek, Springboro, and Huber Heights that are signed up for this. The last I saw was 13 stands in Beavercreek, but I really believe there'll be more. So I'm encouraging everybody to go out and visit with these lemonade stands, help these young entrepreneurs with their lemonade, help them out, just support them. The winner of the best tasting and the best design stand here in each city will receive a Nintendo Switch, and the overall business plan winner will receive a $1,000 scholarship from Chick-fil-A. So that's a lot of good things to shoot for. And we have Green Books here in Beavercreek to thank for that. They were our financial sponsor. They're sponsoring all of the prizes for all of the Beavercreek stands. There's a website you can go to. It's www.rivervalleyscu.org. There it is. /Lemonade Day, and then go to visit this year's stands, and you'll have a map of all of the stands that are up there.
Neat.
At this point, there's 12 here in Beavercreek. There were 13, but that'll change because they're in the process of training the kids on the different entrepreneurial skills. But I highly recommend, I'd like each of the council people to go and visit some, if not all, at least some, and show your support for the city, or from the city. Enough about that. As was already been said, National Night Out, August 3rd, 6 to 8. That's always a good time. Police Department does a really good job putting that together, and I know Officer Brownlee's done a lot of work already putting that together for this year. I'll be driving the little remote car around, escorting people with its little front end there. And then the Police Department's also hosting the Citizens Police Academy, and that's starting September 15th through November 11th. I highly recommend citizens of Beavercreek and business owners attending that session. It's one night a week for, I think, 8 weeks, and you learn a lot about the police department, a lot of hands-on stuff. You get to meet a lot of the officers, understand a little bit more about what their job really entails. There's demonstrations by the K-9, get to get around the cruisers. The drug task force comes in. There's a lot of different things to be a part of there, and I highly recommend that, especially for people that are not really sure what a police department does. We have a very professional police department here in Beavercreek that I'm really proud to be involved with, and Each one of the officers over there, men and women both, and the dispatchers do an outstanding job. So try to get out there for National Night Out and to this police academy. And I think that's all I have.
All right, thank you. Mayor's time, I think a lot of it's already been said, so I'm not going to repeat everything, but I too, once again, those of us that have been around the city for a while, we don't know what it's like to get a bad audit report. And so I just want to say once again, I don't ever want to know, and so thank you very much, Mr. Casera, for you and your staff, but it's just great work. And the one, obviously, the night out on the 3rd is very important, and it is something that you will enjoy. If you come out, you can't help but enjoy yourself and learn something, and that's what it's all about. Every day, try to learn a little bit. I just want to add something new, and that is that some of us had the pleasure of attending a retirement ceremony for Coach Zink, the winningest girls basketball coach in the state of Ohio.
Gee.
And it was quite a pleasure to be able to go. All council signed his commendation letter, and so I appreciate that as well. But it's just another example of the great people that we have in our community. So with that, I want to let the city manager take over.
Well, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, lots going on. Lots been already stated, so I'll just cruise through these. As been mentioned, the Senior Center garage sale, that's Friday, July 30th, 10 to 3 p.m. And that is in the center overflow parking lot, which is behind the Senior Center.
Right.
So it's on the north side of the Senior Center off of Southview Street. So with all the construction going on, you take one of the side roads next to the Senior Center, you'll be able to get back there to Southview, and you'll see it's directly behind the Senior Center. Lemonade Day, that's been discussed. I would strongly, if you can't remember the address on this, just go to Beavercreek's webpage, beavercreekohio.gov, and look in the news. There is an article on the Lemonade Day, which has a link to the page where you can take it right to it. Grangeview Acres Park is a brand new playground. Equipment is now ready to be played on. Playground features small play structures from ages 2 to 5 and larger play structure from ages 5 to 12, a spinner, swings, and a zip line. So we've already gotten feedback on our Facebook page, which people are already planning on going out there, and I've already said it's wonderful. I will say this, we get a little comments about what about the old play structure? Why can't we haven't tore it down yet? We haven't removed it yet, but there's reasons why we're replacing these 20-plus year old structures. Is there's new requirements on safety and children's safety, and we want above all the kids to have fun, but we want them to do it safely. And so as these structures are being replaced, yes, the old ones, there'll be a lot of good memories on those old playgrounds, I'm sure. Some people may have their own children that they played on it, and now their children are playing on these structures. But as we replace them, we do have to let them go and disassemble. Not only that, parts you can't get anymore as well. But good, check it out. It's on Grangeview Acres Park. I thought this one was a good one to do too this year because this is in the impacted area of the tornado area, and so this was a good project to do from that time. So hopefully it's utilized very greatly. And this was already mentioned as well, the Citizens Police Academy. I'll just emphasize, if you're interested in this, beavercreekohio.gov/CPA. That's all you have to do, beavercreekohio.gov/CPA. That'll take you to the police academies where you can sign up and learn more if you're interested in that. And again, it's been mentioned about the Police National Night Out and Open House. It is a great event. Council, I think all of council will be here. Myself will be here. We'll have an information tent outside. We'll have people up here. I tell you, the most important thing that kids love, they love to be mayor. So we have a sign that says mayor on it. And they sit here in mayor's seat with the gavel, and they'll pound that thing till it hurts their ears, but they'll love getting their picture taken as acting as mayor. So that's a lot of fun for the kids. So please come and speak to us and see all the other things the police have to offer. It's a lot of fun. And again, that's August 3rd from 6 to 8 p.m. And that's all I have tonight.
Well, thank you. All right, next item on the agenda is citizen comment. Is there anyone here this evening that would like to address council on any issue? Seeing none, we will move on. We need a motion for an executive session, please.
Mr. Mayor, I move to enter into executive session pursuant to Section 121.22 of the Ohio Revised Code for the purpose of consideration of the purchase of property for public purposes.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to enter into executive session. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Garcia?
Yes.
Councilmember Schwartz?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Adams?
Yes.
Councilmember Curran?
Yes.
Councilmember Dewar?
Yes.
Mayor Stone?
Yes. And for those watching the meeting, we will reconvene this regular meeting after executive session, but there will be no decisions made at that point. So the video portion of the meeting will be terminated. Thank you very much.